Tire pressure monitoring systems can create a great challenge to tire dealers servicing tires and sensors today, especially to tire dealers servicing vehicles from Asian manufacturers like Nissan, Honda, Toyota, Subaru, Suzuki, Hyundai, Kia, and others. Asian vehicles are equipped with sensors that have unique IDs. That means you need an expensive special tool designed to register the new ID when a sensor is replaced. The only other option is to send the customer back to their foreign car dealership to have the sensor reset or replaced, and you lose the business. The good news is that Orange Electronic, the maker of OE-compatible replacement sensors, has an affordable, smart solution for the TPMS ID problem, one that is faster, easier, and less expensive than other methods and keeps the business in your shop. It's this, the Orange Electronic ID Programmer. With this revolutionary tool, the customer won't have to go back to the dealership, and you don't need to purchase an expensive OBD registration tool. The Orange Electronic ID Programmer solves these problems by simply embedding the ID of the factory sensor onto a blank programmable sensor. Once embedded, the new sensor will communicate to the vehicle in the same manner as the sensor it replaced. In other words, no new ID was used for the vehicle. Therefore, no new ID registration is required. This innovative technology will keep owners of Asian vehicles in your shop and save you time and money replacing sensors on their vehicles. Demonstrating on a 2008 Nissan Versa, I'll show you how the Orange Electronic ID Programmer works. As you can see, the TPMS warning lamp is on, indicating that tire pressure is low. We determined that the left front sensor in the vehicle is defective. We're going to go ahead and replace that sensor. In the past, when replacing the sensor, we would have hooked up the OBD connect and reprogrammed the ID on the sensor into the vehicle in order to shut off the warning lamp, sending the car safely on its way. With the Orange Electronic ID Programmer, it's much simpler. We're going to program the new sensor, which is a blank sensor, with the ID of the vehicle's original equipment sensor, bypassing the OBD reset in just 4 easy steps. First, after we remove the original equipment sensor, tire, and wheel assembly, we'll take the ID numbers from the original equipment sensor and input them into the Orange Electronic ID Programmer. These numbers are normally a series of 8 numbers that you can locate on the back of the original equipment sensor that is being replaced. Second, we place the blank OE-compatible sensor into the receiving end of the ID transmitter. The third step is to press the TX key. The ID Programmer will alert us that it is transmitting. And fourth, we wait for the ID Programmer to tell us everything is okay. If the numbers are not on the original equipment sensor, a quick scan with a readable scan tool will display the ID number. This is important because you can provide a set of sensors onto a winter tire and wheel package without breaking down the old summer tires to read the ID numbers. Again, it only requires 4 simple steps to program the new OE replacement sensor. Input the ID numbers from the original equipment sensor into the Orange Electronic ID Programmer. Place the blank compatible sensor into the receiving end of the ID Programmer. Press the TX key. Wait for OK. The new Orange Electronic OE-compatible sensor is now ready to be installed on the tire and wheel assembly and can be put back on the car. The 2-piece design of the Orange Electronic OE-compatible sensor allows us to place the valve into the wheel and secure the valve assembly to the wheel. Next, we attach the newly programmed OE sensor to the valve assembly and tighten the screw. Then make a final adjustment with the multiple angle valve to place the sensor securely to the drop center of the wheel. Now we're ready to put the tire and wheel assembly back on the vehicle. Once the tire and wheel assembly is back on, the next step is to confirm that the sensor is working properly by starting the vehicle. When the vehicle is started, the warning lamp should be gone, indicating that the system is working properly, which it is. To further demonstrate that the sensor is monitoring the tire properly and that ID has been registered to the vehicle, we're going to leave the vehicle running and create a situation with the tire we installed by letting air out of it with the new sensor in. First, we're going to remove the valve cap on the sensor and release some air to see if the TPMS warning lamp comes on. The warning lamp has come on, which indicates the sensor is transmitting correctly. Now we'll re-inflate the tire to make sure that the TPMS warning lamp goes off. As you can see, the warning lamp has gone off, indicating that everything is functioning properly. To verify that the new ID programmed Orange Electronic sensors will work with the trigger tools on the market today, we're going to perform one last test using the reset tool. When we place the reset tool next to the sensor and press the test button, we get a reading that confirms the ID number on the reset tool as being the same as the original equipment number. That verifies that everything is working fine. With the new Orange Electronic ID Programmer, you're able to replace the original sensor with a copy and eliminate the need to use an expensive OBD handheld tool in order to relearn the ID of the original sensor of that vehicle. That alone will save your shop time and money. But most importantly, the Orange Electronic ID Programmer will give you the ability to quickly and easily service tire sensors on Asian vehicles, keeping customers you may have had to send back to the dealership in your shop. This is another innovative idea from Orange Electronic, makers of OE-compatible replacement sensors, retrofit TPMS kits, and now TPMS ID programmers. Ask your Orange Electronic sales rep for more information today.